Assalamu alaikum সবাইকে. I hope all of you are well and you know having a safe life at your home. So today we are going to go learn about pancreas, and I'll start in a minute. I think we should wait for 2 or 3 minutes, then we'll start our topics of the day. Anyway, so we have already gone through stomach, then duodenum, and now we are going to learn about pancreas. Uh, Basically, the pancreas, duodenum, and spleen, these three are in one item. If you see your item card, you will check that these three are in one item. So that's why I have covered duodenum first. Then I will today I'm going to talk about pancreas, and next day I will go to spleen, and then again we'll go to the next small intestine or large small intestine. So I hope the you have at least learned some things of stomach and duodenum on the previous classes. So it will help to go through in today's class, because you will see that all the structures that are all the viscera that are in abdomen are have the relationship with each other. So it will be easier if you have read the previous two topics. Then you will see that there are some similarities you will find also in the pancreas. So we'll going to start about pancreas, or I think we should wait 2 minutes more, because it's only 8:03 p.m. So we are wait 8 up to 8:05. Then we are going to start pancreas. So I'm telling, if you have the Nater or Dotto with you, you can have that book with you. Then it will be easier for you to understand when I'm going through these slides. And remember, I'm always telling you to follow the instruction of your teachers. Okay, I'm just here to help you go through with the topics, but you should always follow the instruction of your teachers, because it should be your preference that follow how your teachers tell about any subject or describe any subject. Try to follow that instruction. And I'm only go through the gist of any topic. So if you are interested to know more, please go through more books, because the thing I'm talking about is only the gist of any topics which basically you need to know for any visceras. Anyway, so today our lecture is about only pancreas. It's not it is very short lecture, and I hope I'm not fast. I'm a very fast talker. I know that's my problem, but I hope I'm not as fast. I'll try to be not as fast as I am. So anyway, I think we should start our topics today. So I have given a picture on the right side. That's how the pancreas looks in our body, and it's basically lies within the you know duodenum. As you can see, the violet color structure is the duodenum, and within that, the whole yellow color, this structure is our pancreas. So pancreas is basically soft, lobulated, and elongated gland. Okay, so it's a gland. So the first question after holding the pancreas in anatomical position, you are going to get one is what are the function of pancreas, or second, the question can be in this way, that what type of gland is pancreas. The answer are same, but the question asked in two different ways. One, we can ask directly that what is the function of pancreas, and another one is same question, same answer, but the question is different, is like what kind of gland is pancreas. So pancreas basically a mixed gland which consists of two types of function. One is exocrine function and one is endocrine function. Okay, so there is two type of functions: exocrine function and endocrine functions. So That's why it is called a mixed gland, because it consists of exocrine and as well as endocrine functions. So what is the exocrine function? Basically it secretes some pancreatic juices, and it will help in the digestion of the carbohydrate, protein and fat digestion. And this uh, digestion, you are going to learn in your biochemistry in detailing. But for here, for anatomy, you need to know that the exocrine function is basically to secrete pancreatic juices, and which helps in the digestion of carbohydrate, protein and fat. And endocrine functions, it secretes hormones. Okay, there are secretion of hormones from pancreas, and there are four types of cell, mainly four types of cells are present, which secretes glucagon, insulin, somatostatin and pancreatic polypeptide. It will have the detailed function in later slides, but for now just it secretes hormones like glucagon, insulin. So the first question, usually I have seen many examination during the Viva board. So the first question usually they ask about pancreas is like, what kind of gland is pancreas? So you have to tell that it's a mixed gland which consists of both exocrine and endocrine function. So the exocrine function is nothing but it secretes pancreatic juice, which helps in digestion of carbohydrate, protein and fat. And the endocrine function is it secretes hormone. It has four type of cell which will secrete glucagon, insulin, somatostatin and pancreatic polypeptide. So these two different kind of function makes pancreas a mixed kind of gland. Okay, so this is the function. And now we are going to go to the next slide, the location. So I've already told you that for abdomen, for any viscera of abdomen, we need to know the region of the region where the viscera are located. So see, the pancreas is located in mainly epigastric, then the left hypochondriac region. Okay, and it basically lies behind the stomach and laser sac, and it transversely across the posterior abdominal wall between lumbar 1 to lumbar 3. So that's why I'm telling you that if you have read the stomach, then you will see, if you read the stomach, you can remember the relation of the stomach bed. So there was in the relation of the stomach bed, there was a relation that is the anterior surface of the pancreas. So that's why it you can easily correlate here, because pancreas lies basically behind the stomach. And we already know from the duodenum that the first and the second part is situated from lumbar 1 to lumbar 3. That's why the pancreas lies within this vertebral level. So when we are holding the viscera of pancreas, we try to maintain this position of epigastric and left hypochondriac region, and around lumbar 1 and lumbar 3 vertebra level. So these are the location of the pancreas. Now comes what are the gross anatomy of the pancreas. You can see it's nothing, it's a bit retort shape, and the length varies from 15 to 20 centimeter, and the breadth is about 2.5 to 3.8 centimeter, and it weighs about 90 gram. Okay, so these are the common thing you have to just know. And pancreas is basically divided into four parts. Okay, from right side to left side, there is first the head, there is the neck, there is the body, there is the tail. So I think you can see the upper left picture, upper right picture, which is showing different color of the different parts. See, there is head, the first one is the head, then there is the constricted part, that is the neck, then there is larger area, that is the body, and then a smaller area, that is the tail. I know the labelings are not good, but I think you can see the color differences of that picture. And see, below the head there is one brown color segment, that is called the uncinate process. So basically these are the parts of the pancreas we are going to find. And now if we go to the head of the pancreas, I think this picture has much more better leveling and better color coordination. So see, the blue color portion is our head, and then the green color, this is the neck. The, I think this is kind of like brown, that is our body, and yellow color is the tail, and the, pink, that is showing the uncinate process, which is a part of head. So the four parts of pancreas are from right to left is head, neck, body, and tail. And there is an uncinate process, which is basically a part of the head of the pancreas. So if we go to the head, let's see what we can find here. Basically, it's an enlarged part which lies within the C-shaped concavity of the duodenum. As you can see from the picture, basically the head lies within the C-shaped structure, and the head has three borders. If you can see my cursor moving, I don't know if you can see it not. Along with the first part, this is our superior border, and along the third part, this is the inferior border, and this along the second part of the duodenum, this is the right lateral border. So these three borders, superior border, then there is right lateral border, and there is inferior border, three borders, and there are two surfaces. One is the, anterior surface, the front one is the anterior surface, and the behind one is our posterior surface. Okay, so these are the surface and borders of the head of the pancreas. And the one another important thing is this portion, that is the uncinate process, which is a triangular projection arises from the lower and left part of the head. So, and as you can see, if the relation of border, we can tell the superior border basically overlapped by the first part of the duodenum. See, the right lateral border is overlapped by the second part of the duodenum, and the inferior border is overlapped by the third part of the duodenum. So, it's very easy. If you can picturize, you can see from these pictures that all the borders are basically overlapped or related with the corresponding borders of the duodenum. And now, I have told you that the relation of viscera in abdomen are very important. That's why you need to have the idea of which viscera lies where, and it will make it easier for you to understand that, or to memorize these relations. So that's why I always tell the students that, when you are reading any kind of relation, please uh, follow the pictures. Try to find the structures on the pictures, then it will be easier to remember. So anyway, the anterior surface, see, this is the anterior surface. The upper part of the anterior surface is basically non-peritoneal, and it related to the transverse colon, but lower part, it is covered with peritoneum. And the posterior surface is not as non-peritoneal, and it related to, see, the blue color tube like structure, that is the inferior vena cava. Along with both renal veins, there is right cross of diaphragm, and one important structure, that is the bile duct. Okay, so anteriorly it's easier. There is upper part is non-peritoneal and related to transverse colon, but the lower part covers with the peritoneum. But the posterior surface is non-peritoneal and related to three important structure. One is the inferior vena cava, as you can see, along with the both renal veins. Then there is the right crus of diaphragm, and there is bile duct. And along the right crus of diaphragm, you will find certain structures, but I'm not going to go on details about those. But remember, these three main structure you are going to find on the posterior surface of the head of the pancreas. Okay, and the uncinate process, this is the uncinate process area. If you can see, so it is also related with certain structures, like in front, this is related to superior mesenteric vessels. And in this picture, there is kind of see, this is the superior mesenteric vessels. Then behind, there will be abdominal aorta. The abdominal aorta lies, see the red color, this is the abdominal aorta. And above, there will be presence of left renal vein, which I don't think it's present here. Okay, no, left renal vein is not present on this picture anyway. So this is the relation of head of the pancreas, an unseen process of the pancreas. So, and now we are going to the neck of the pancreas. As we have seen before, the most slightly constricted part of the pancreas, which lies between the head and the body, is the neck. It's kind of like hair, and it is directed forwards, upwards, and to the left. And another important way to remember, behind the neck of the pancreas there lies the portal vein. This is one of the important feature. Behind the posterior surface or behind the neck there will be presence of portal vein. So a portal vein is very important structure in our abdomen. So that's why it's a very important relation, remember. So the constricted part between the head and body is our neck, which is directed forwards, upwards, and to the left. And there are two surface again. One is the anterior surface, which lies in front, and one is the posterior surface. And see, the relation is very easier here. There is anterior surface basically covered with peritoneal laser sac, and it's related with the pyloric end of the stomach. Okay, the pyloric end of the stomach. And the posterior surface, I've already told you, is related with the portal vein and also superior mesenteric vein. Basically, superior mesenteric vein lies on the upper part, and portal vein lies on the lower portion of the neck. So this is the neck. It's a very constricted part of the pancreas, as well as the relations are also very easier. Now, if we come to the body of the pancreas, it is kind of very elongated portion which extends from neck to tail, and from the perspective of visceral point, it will be extending from basically aorta, from aorta to the left kidney. Okay, so it's a quite large area, and it passes towards the left with slight upward and backward inclination. The picture, if you can see the picture, the way the pancreas is is lies, the way the pancreas lies here, it's basically how you have to hold the viscera. I know for those who haven't seen the viscera yet, it is kind of very difficult to understand from the picture, but you have to try to picturize this from the you know the pictures that is available. Otherwise, I hope soon we can you can see the visceras anyway. So it has also three borders. It's a bit technical way. The three borders, there are anterior border, superior border, and inferior border. Okay, and it has three surfaces as well. It has anterior surface, inferior surface, and posterior surface. So now there will be a question like, the anterior surface seems like flat, so how can there are three surfaces? Basically, it looks flat on the picture, but it's not flat in real viscera. Okay, so that's why there are three borders and there are three visceras. This is a bit confusing, I know, but still I hope I can make you understand. See, the above border is the superior border. Okay, the above border, which is along with the red color vein and artery. This is our this is our superior border, and the below one, this is the inferior border. Okay, the superior border and the inferior border. So where is our anterior border? Basically on the this surface, it's not flat, because it's 2D, that's why it looks flat, but it's not flat. In kind of in the middle there is a border, that is our anterior border. I don't know if you can see my mouse, the pointer of my mouse. If you can see, in the middle of the superior and inferior border there will be an anterior border. So if there is an anterior border, then above the anterior border will be our anterior surface, Below the anterior border will be our inferior surface, and behind it will be our posterior surface. So I know it's a bit confusing, but I'm going to repeat this again as it is a bit confusing. So there are three borders and three surfaces in the body of the pancreas. Okay, three borders and three surfaces in the body of the pancreas. The upper one is our superior border, and the lower one will be the inferior border. And between the upper and lower one, there is another border, that is the anterior border. Okay, so the three surfaces will be like between the upper superior border and the anterior border will be our anterior surface. Then the anterior border, between the anterior border and inferior border, there will be the inferior surface. And on the posterior one will be the behind, between the superior and inferior border. So these are the borders and surfaces. I hope you have understood, or otherwise I will you know rip you know tell it again. So there is one thing we are going to find on the superior border called tuber omental, a small conical projection on the right end of the superior border, which we can't usually see in our viscera. Okay, so you don't have to worry about tuber omental. Usually we can find that on the viscera. So the most important thing from the body is until to to make you understand the borders and surfaces. uh, you have to be clear about the borders and surfaces. So otherwise it will be difficult for you to understand the next relation portion or everything. Anyway, so that's why I'm telling again, there are three borders and three surfaces. Okay, three borders are: the upper one is the superior border, and the lower one is the inferior border. As you can see here, the upper margin, this one is the upper border, and the lower margin, this one is the inferior border. And see, kind of like in the almost in the middle, you will find another ridge kind of thing on the viscera. So that is our anterior border. So between superior border and anterior border will be our anterior surface. Between anterior border and inferior border will be our inferior surface. And on the opposite side, between the superior border and inferior border will be our posterior surface. Okay, I hope you have understand. So basically this is a picture to show you that what are the structure you will find behind, or in relation with the body of the pancreas. So as you can see, this is the yellow color, this is our pancreas, and you can see behind the neck, this is the portal vein, the big structure behind blue color, this is the portal vein. Then this one is the red one, is the abdominal aorta. And see, this is the transverse colon, there is right kidney, there is left kidney, this violet color is the spleen. And this is and almost most of the structure we can see here: left ureter, right ureter. So now we are going to the relation of the body is very important, remember, especially this relation of the body. So the anterior surface, it is covered by peritoneum and related with laser sac and stomach. Because if you remember the post stomach bed and the relation, you will find the pancreas on that relation, just vice versa. Okay, and inferior surface, it is covered by peritoneum and related to duodenojejunal flexure. That means where the duodenum ends and jejunum starts, that point is called the duodenojejunal flexure. And there will be some coils of jejunum, and there is left colic flexure. So if I go the previous slide, you can see the left, this one is the left colic flexure. See, this is one is the left colic flexure. So there should be duodenal flexure here. See, there is a marking, leveling of duodenal flexure. And the coils of jejunum is not here because the jejunum is not shown in this picture. Okay, so we can see most of the thing. And stomach is also not here because stomach lies in front of the pancreas. And if we come to the posterior surface, this is non-peritoneal, and you can see there is abdominal aorta with, you know, origin of the superior mesenteric artery. Then there will be left crus of diaphragm. There will be left psoas major muscle and sympathetic trunk. There will be left suprarenal gland, left kidney, left renal vessels, and, you know, pelvis of left ureter, and left suprarenal and left gonadal veins. So there is lot of structure you have, you are going to find here. And, you know, most important things, as it kind of lies on the left side, so most of the structure you will find of the left portion. So as you have seen before the picture, abdominal aorta, you can see clearly abdominal aorta is dividing into the superior mesenteric artery. See the origin of supramesenteric artery, then there is diaphragm, left crus, then there is left psoas major muscle and sympathetic trunk, then there is left kidney, and above the left kidney there is left suprarenal gland, then there are some left renal vessels, there is left ureter, there is left suprarenal and left gonadal veins. You are going to find on the posterior relation of the posterior surface of the body. So this is the relation of body, which is very, very important. You know, it is the most important one, you know, in the pancreas. And now comes the tail, and you can see the narrow left end, which kind of connects with the spleen. This valvular structure is our spleen, is our tail of the pancreas, and this is the most mobile part of the pancreas. Okay, this one is the most mobile, and it lies at a higher level, you know, compared to the other parts of the pancreas. It lies at the level opposite the thoracic 12 vertebra. So if you remember, we have learned the head lies within lumbar 1 to lumbar 3, okay, but the tail lies opposite the thoracic 12 vertebra. So when we are going to hold the pancreas anatomically, we have to hold it in, you know, the same way. The head will be a bit lower than the tail, because the head lies within lumbar 1 to lumbar 3 and the tail lies at thoracic 12, so a bit higher than the body. Okay, and it basically lies within the lineorenal, you know, ligament with splenic vessels. And if you can see the relations, basically in front of the tail is our stomach, which is separated by the laser set, and behind you can see there is splenic, there is spleen, and some, and within it there is splenic vessels. And below, see left, this is one, this one is left colic flexure, which we have already see in our, you know, body. So this is the left colic flexure. See, this is the left colic flexure, so this lies below the tail. So that is the tail of the is the relation of the tail of the pancreas. So this is all about the gross anatomy of the head, neck, body and tail of our pancreas. And now we'll go to another portion, that is the duct system of pancreas, which is important one. And I think we already know about the duct system because we have already read the duodenum. So duodenum, if you remember on the duodenum, on the second part of the duodenum, if you remember from that portion, we have learned about major and minor duodenal papilla, right? There are two papilla we have learned on the second interior portion of the second part of the duodenum, major duodenal papilla and minor duodenal papilla. And if you remember, major duodenal papilla, there opens ampulla of Vater, okay, and which is basically formed by two things. One is the main pancreatic duct and one is the common bile duct. And the minor duodenal papilla, there opens the exudative pancreatic duct. So this main pancreatic duct and exudative pancreatic duct, which we have already learned on our, you know, duodenum, now we are going to learn here too. These are two the same things, but from two different perspective we are going through. So sorry. So the main pancreatic duct, or we can call it the duct of Wirsung, see, it begins at the tail. If you see the picture on the right side, it basically begins from the tail, then it will run throughout the body, and in the neck it will bend to run downwards and backwards, and it will enter, not enter, it will go to the head and it will meet with the bile duct. Okay, and then these two ducts will open in the posterior medial wall of the second part of the duodenum, and they will join to form the ampulla of Vater, and which opens as a major duodenal papilla. So the same thing we have learned on the major duodenal papilla are we are learning actually here. So both of the things are same, there is no difference. One is from the pancreas perspective, and one is from the duodenum perspective, but the things are same. Okay, so that's why I have told you, you have to go through the previous systems or viscera so that it will be easier for you to understand. So if we come again, the main pancreatic duct, basically it will begin from the tail of the pancreas, then it will go throughout the body, then will enter into the neck, from neck it will go downwards to the head, and then there it will meet the bile duct, and both of them will separately open into the posterior medial wall of the second part of the duodenum, and then they will form ampulla of Vater, and they will open as major duodenal papilla, and which is a very important structure, because up to this portion the everything will develop from foregut, and below the major duodenal papilla everything will develop from the midgut, if you remember from the previous class. And now come the second one is our accessory pancreatic duct, and see, it begins in the lower part of the head, and then it will crosses the main duct, then with which it actually communicate, and then ultimately it will open as the minor duodenal papilla, just about 2 centimeter above the major duodenal papilla in the second part of the duodenum. So see, same as the things we have learned in our duodenum, the major duodenal papilla and the minor duodenal papilla, that's how we have learned in the duodenum, but here we are going to learn as the duct system, or as the ducts. One is the main pancreatic duct and one is the accessory pancreatic duct. So now comes the structure. See, according to the function, if you remember, there are two types of structure present on the pancreas. See, the functions are both exocrine function and the endocrine function. So that's why the pancreas has both the exocrine part and the endocrine part. Okay, most of the part basically consists of exocrine portion. Okay, and it's all formed by the exocrine acinar tissues, and basically there are presence of lobules, numerous lobules, and which will be separated from each other by interlobular septa. And the main pancreatic duct, which we have learned a bit before, it basically branches into interlobular and intralobular ducts, then smaller portion that is ductules, and finally acini. So basically the exocrine portion is consist of these acinar tissues and numerous lobules separated from each other by interlobular septa, and the pancreatic duct basically opens into this. And the endocrine portion, I told you the function is basically it secrete hormones, and now we are going to learn from what kind of cells it produce the hormones. So there are cluster of cells present in the endocrine portion of the pancreas, and these are known as the islets of Langerhans. Okay, the islets of Langerhans, this is very important term. Islets of Langerhans is the cluster of cells that is present on the endocrine portion of the pancreas. Very, very important. There are about 1 million or more 1 million or more islets of Langerhans present on the pancreas, and they are most numerous in the tails. Okay, they are most numerous in the tails. And see, they have 4 types of cells present in the pancreas. There is A cell or alpha cell, we can say, B cell or beta cell, there is D cell, and there is PP cell, or in one way we can say F cells. Okay, so the A or alpha cell, they are only the 20% of the cells and they produce glucagon. Then there is B cell or beta cell, which is about 75% of all cells, and they produce insulin. The D cell, they produce somatostatin, which is in a smaller amount. Okay, and there is PP cell or F cells, both are same, they produce pancreatic polypeptides. Okay, so these are the cells you are going to find in endocrine portion of the pancreas, and the most important one is the B cell, that is 75% of all cells, and they produce what? Insulin. So you have to know that all these types of cells, and what are the hormones they are producing. And you I think all of you, all of us know about diabetes, and we all know that the patients with diabetes, those have to take insulin, right? So that's why this pancreas and this endocrine portion is very very important for us all. So if there is deficiency of insulin, then there will be diabetes mellitus, and it is very common non-communicable disease. And I think in every household there is some elderly or person, or even nowadays middle aged, or even small kids are having diabetes. So see, that's why it's very important. So I think there is a whole topics about this insulin and formation in the Dotto. But these things you are going to learn in your biochemistry class in very detailed way. For anatomy, from the structure, we all just need to know what are the structures we are going to find you know on the histological slides. The exocrine portion, that is composed of the acinar tissues, and there will be numerous lobules separated by basically interlobular septa, and the main pancreatic ducts open there. And the endocrine portion, they have cluster of cells which is known as the islets of Langerhans. They are about 1 million or more in numbers, and they are most common in tail. Okay, most common in tail. And there are 4 types of cell present. There is alpha or A cell, which produces glucagon. There is B cell or beta cell, which produce insulin. There is D cell, which produce somatostatin, and there is PP or pancreatic polypeptide cell, which produce pancreatic polypeptide. Okay, and the most important thing we need to know from here is that if there is any kind of deficiency of insulin, there is diabetes mellitus, or people will have diabetes mellitus or diabetes. Anyway, this is the most important thing. And apart from these 4 cells, there can be some other cell, like there can be some VIP cells, that means vasoactive intestinal peptide and argentafin cell. Okay, we can also have this kind of cell there. So this was the histological structure. And now remember, from histological part, I only describe the things you need to know, only the gross things, not in details. Okay, so that I can finish the chapters anyway. So now we come to the blood supply. It's very easier. See, if you see the artery supply, the head and neck of the pancreas are supplied by ventral and dorsal anastomosis of the superior and inferior pancreaticoduodenal arteries. And it lies basically at the junction of between the duodenum and pancreas. Okay, and the body and tail, they're supplied by pancreatic branches of splenic artery. I think on the picture you can clearly see the splenic artery. The above one is the splenic artery, sorry, which is supplying the body and the tail of the pancreas. And see, between the duodenum and pancreas, there is presence of superior and inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery, which is supplies the head and neck of the pancreas. And the venous drainage is basically very easy. The veins corresponds to the arteries and drain into mainly superior mesenteric vein, splenic vein, and ultimately into the portal vein. Okay, very very easier. And lymphatic drainage is also easy. There is head and neck. This portion drain into the pancreaticoduodenal lymph nodes. Okay, and body and tail, they drain into splenic lymph nodes. So very easier. And nerve supply is almost same as before we have learned. The sympathetics are derived from the celiac and superior mesenteric plexus, whereas the parasympathetics are derived from the vagus nerves. Okay, easier. And development, see, they are developed from two parts. One is the dorsal and one is the ventral bud. Okay, so from the dorsal portion, it will develop the whole of the neck, the body, and the tail of the pancreas, and upper part of the head. Okay, so the dorsal bud basically consists will develop these portions of the pancreas, the whole of the neck, body, and tail of the pancreas, and upper part of the head. And the ventral bud, it will develop the lower part of the head and the uncinate process. So these are the development of the pancreas. And yes, there is no more slides. Another thing about clinical or anatomy that we need to know, one is the diabetes is very important. So deficiency of insulin will cause diabetes mellitus. This is the most important thing you need to know, and you are going to learn in details about how insulin is formed and everything in your biochemistry card. So then you will have a clear conception about it. Other than that, if you remember in duodenum class, I have already told another clinical thing, that is, if there is annular type of pancreas or any kind of malignant growth in the head of the pancreas, then it will kind of block or pressurize the duodenum, and then there will be duodenal obstruction. So that is the one thing you need to read from the pancreas. So that's why I haven't written it here. But remember, if there is annular type of pancreas, which is a very rare condition, so if this kind of annular type of pancreas, if this happens, then what will happen, there are some uh, tissues that will come from pancreas, and it will kind of encircle the duodenum. And what will happen if you encircle a tube, it will kind of obstruct or that duodenum, so there will be duodenal obstruction. Or same again, if there is any kind of growth or tumor in the head of the pancreas, it will also pressurize the duodenum, as the head lies within the C-shaped cavity, or C-shaped concavity of the duodenum. So it will kind of oppress or pressurize the duodenum, and again there will be duodenal obstruction. So this is all about pancreas, and I hope I have done justice. So if we are going to the first thing again, I just give you a summary that pancreas basically, first question or the most important thing, the function of pancreas. The function is, it is a mixed kind of gland which has exocrine function as well as endocrine function. The exocrine function is to, it secretes pancreatic juice which helps in digestion. Okay, and there is endocrine function which is very important. It secretes hormone, and it has four kinds of cells: alpha, beta, D cell, and PP cell. Alpha cell secrete glucagon, beta or B cell secrete insulin. There is D cell that secretes somatostatin, and there is PP or pancreatic polypeptide. Okay, and the pancreas lies in mainly epigastric and left hypochondriac region, and the head, it basically lies within lumbar 1 to lumbar 3, and but the tail lies at the level of thoracic 12. Okay, and we divided the parts from right to left, from head, neck, body, and tail. And there is a triangular projection that you are going to find on the left side and lower side of the head, that is the uncinate process. And then you have to head, it has three borders: upper, so superior, inferior border, and right lateral border, and two surface: anterior surface, posterior surface. Neck has also two surface: anterior surface, posterior surface. And body, it's a bit tricky, that we can usually understand from the pictures, but there are three borders. There is superior border, which you can see the margin, upper margin. There is inferior border, that is the lower margin. And there is between the upper and lower margin kindly close to the inferior border, there is another border, that is the anterior border. And there's three surface. There is anterior surface, inferior surface, and posterior surface. So between the superior border and anterior border, that this will be the anterior surface. That is basically the upper part of the anterior surface of the body. Okay, and between the anterior border and inferior border, this is our inferior surface. And opposite the picture, that means opposite this picture, will be basically the posterior surface, which lies within the anterior superior border and inferior border. So this is it. And there is the tail, which is basically the mobile part of the pancreas, and it lies within the linear ligament and kind of attached with the spleen. Sorry. And the relation that you need to know, and you can see there are important structure you have to remember, like inferior vena cava, there is abdominal aorta, and certain structure like kidney. And the most important one is basically the relationship of pancreas. And if you can remember this picture, it will be very easier for you, to understand. So that's why I'm telling you that please, when you are reading any kind of relation of any kind of viscera abdomen, just take the nature with you, so that you can easily picturize the different viscera, so it will be easier for you to remember. So from tail, there is duct system, there is main pancreatic duct, accessory pancreatic duct, which we have already learned in our duodenum, particularly in the second part. So main pancreatic duct, it will start from tail, then it will go through the body, neck and head, and then it will meet with the bile duct, and together they will pierce the posterior medial wall of the second part of the duodenum, and they will form ampulla of Vater and open as meridional papilla. Whereas the accessory pancreatic duct will begins from the lower part of the head, and it will cross the main duct, and then it will open as meridional papilla about 2 centimeter above the meridional papilla, which actually we have already discussed in our duodenum. So the structure, see exocrine portion, endocrine portion, we have discussed it all. There is blood supply, very easy. The head and neck is by superior and inferior pancreatic arteries, and body and tail, as you can see, the splenic artery, and veins, mainly the splenic vein, superior mesenteric vein, and ultimately portal vein. Lymphatic drainage, same as the arteries. Nerve supply, one is from the sympathetic are from the celiac and superior mesenteric plexus, and parasympathetics are the the vagus nerves. And development, dorsal and ventral buds, you have to remember what are the portion, which are the portion that is developed from the dorsal portion, and which are the portion that is developed from the ventral bud. And finally, there is diabetes occurs due to the deficiency of insulin. And then there is one important thing, that is, if there is any annular type of pancreas, which is a very rare condition, what will happen, it will encircle the duodenum, and there will be duodenal obstruction. Or if there is any kind of malignant growth or tumor present in the head of the pancreas, it will also affect the duodenum, and there will be duodenal obstruction. So this is all about pancreas, the most important things you need to know from pancreas. And I hope I make it, I can make you understand. I hope that it will be very difficult for the first year students to understand without seeing the viscera, but again, there is no other way to go through it. So this is uh, all about pancreas. And so this is all we need to know, almost we need to know from today's class. So I hope at least I can help you a bit anyway. So this is all. Uh, so Nusrat, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is today's class. There is nothing else we need to know about pancreas. So next class, inshallah, we are going to go to spleen. So I think I should stop sharing and everything.